We are talking all about your wedding stationery and what you like, what you want, all the ideas, maybe not even all, because there can be a sea. We tailor it to every wedding that we design, and I love working on the details that really get to make your wedding day. We are talking everything stationery, and wedding stationery is super fun. It's the first little thing that your guests will see, and it's something that becomes very personal to you and maybe vary your vibe or maybe a little glimpse of what it is that your wedding day will be about. We design every wedding stationery for we design the wedding stationery for our couples, and it's so fun because we really get to get personal on it, and it really shows a little glimpse of their personality. If it's a bit modern, if it's clean, if it's romantic, if it's a touch of floral, whatever it is, the paper, the details, the shapes, everything, it really can make a whole design become very different when you're adding those little details of the right touches. Welcome to Bride and Joy. My name is Amanda Thompson, and I am a former architect gone wedding planner. I'm super excited about sharing this episode with you, as actually wedding stationery was one of the first things that we started with when I started with wedding stationery on the side of working full-time as an architect and also still having 2 kids. So here we go. I do believe that wedding stationery should be an overall little glimpse into the design of your wedding day. Your save the dates don't have to be exactly the same. It can be completely different, but that wedding invitation, I do recommend that it is a little idea of what is coming. It's so fun to have a paper invitation that comes in with that little special touch. And remember, a wedding doesn't necessarily just start with the wedding day. It starts with everything that you feel, you touch, you hear, you taste. And it's all about enhancing those little things that do make that theme that you've chosen even more special. And there are definitely some amazing, beautiful wedding invitations that come in digital format that you can just literally press send and post, and it pops in to an email address for your guest, and it's just a very fast way to get an RSVP. It can be linked to a web page, but then you also have that special touch that I love, the paper version, or it can be fabric, it can be a book, it can be a little box, whatever you want it to be as part of your wedding theme and your design. And it's so fun because when you're moving into the wedding stationery, you really start to see who you are. So if you're moving into the modern, or if you're moving into the bohemian, or if you're moving into this elegant traditional vibe, or maybe even if you're doing a destination wedding, it might even be something that's giving a little sprinkle of where you're going. For example, if you're having a wedding in the Maldives, then maybe there is a tropical theme that is popping out, or even Jamaica. These are the elements that you can bring your guests into, which really takes them into that little world that you're just at the peak of just starting to share with them. And there are so many fun ways that you can enhance the paper, but the paper really makes a big difference. Sometimes we use 3 different papers for a design, sometimes we use 1 different paper, sometimes we use 2, sometimes we use 5. It really depends on the design, but just the paper itself, without everything that's going in and out of the paper being embossed and all of these things, it can really make a difference in the design. You can, for example, have something that's very easy and you wrap something around it with a ribbon, and that becomes a thing. It can also be something else that is just a very simple design, something you pop into an envelope and that's it. But it can also be 3 different layers of paper, and it can be with 3 different designs, and it can be with 3 different information that's needed. So it's all these things that are important to consider. Try and think about what it is that you like. Do you like watercolor paper? Do you like something that has a texture to it? Do you like something that is a bit more clean? What is it that you like, and how is it that you're moving into your wedding design, and then combine that with the wedding stationery? And there are many things that you can think about when it comes to your wedding stationery printing, and this can be digital printing, which is what you see when it's just a digital print on paper. It can be embossing or debossing. These are elements that go in and out of the paper, that are literally like pushed in or pushed out of the paper, that gives this really cool 3D effect. It can be foil stamping, which sometimes our couples choose it to be in gold, which will be foil on it. It can be letterpress, which is a deep impression into the paper, and this results in a very tactile, elegant design. So there are so many things that consider that you need to think about which direction you want to go when it comes to your wedding stationery. And if you're the person that likes illustrations or fun colors, then have this in. Sometimes I sketch up an actual chateau that they're getting married at, and then I translate that into a digital print, and then we get that on paper. We've also done a little detail of wedding gifts for the guests where we've had a design of the actual venue and then had that go onto different gift bags that was printed up, so that was very sweet. But maybe you want a logo or a little monogram that's you, and all these little details do make a little story, and it creates your little story, and it becomes very special. So it's easy to say it doesn't matter, but it really does. So when you see these details and how they kind of thread together, it's like putting pearls on a little necklace and you kind of see them all fall in place. For me, it's the best feeling when I see that on the wedding day and you see everything fall in place and all the wedding stationery is layered on top, and then with the flowers, it just gives that final touch. It can be very simple, but a good design on your wedding stationery is super important, and it does make a difference. So if you're creating your wedding stationery yourself, I do recommend that you do have a timeline of when you're going to have everything ready. So start with your RSVPs. These can be just to save the dates on the RSVPs, for example. So you start with your save the dates, and for some you can add in an RSVP to it. For others, you can just send it as a date that goes out in the post. You just need the date and the info of the city and the dates of your wedding, and that's it. Just a little sneak of what's coming and welcome, so people can hold the date for you. Then you move into the wedding stationery, so your invitations, and what is it that you need to think about to go into the invitations. It's information about your wedding day, information about their attire, where they're staying, the details, what's happening the different days, and what is going on the different days, which will allow them to understand what they need to pack, what they need to bring, how they should dress. Just imagine, think about it in your way. What do they need to know for them to be able to have a great day? And there are so many fonts that you can download for free to use for your wedding. There are so many colors, but if you're already started on your wedding design, I do recommend that you do incorporate these colors. If you're, for example, doing an orange theme, then you can bring in either orange paper or an orange ribbon or some orange flowers or an orange tone to some of your fonts, or maybe just some of the font is in orange. So it's about incorporating those little details that do create a red thread throughout your wedding. And there are so many cool papers that you can choose that are eco-friendly options. There are actually papers that you can choose that you print on, and they have seeds in them, which means that you can literally take that paper and you can put it into soil and it will actually grow into a plant, which is a super cool idea. And everyone has a little plant after your wedding, which is just also another fun gift for your guests. And when it comes to your wedding stationery design, I do recommend that you have a sort of a thread or a coordination with the rest of the design. So the rest of the design can be your menus, your place cards, your table plan, your RSVP cards, your save the dates, your envelopes, your thank you cards, and maybe some other signage. This does allow for a very cohesive look throughout your wedding, and the guests feel it from the moment they arrive, which is such a fun way to start the celebration. And if you like it or not, your stationery, it does set a tone for your wedding. So if you're designing bespoke invitations, how can that enhance your atmosphere, your vibe, your personality, and what it is that you're trying to give a little glimpse of for your guests for what they're expecting? And with the right design, your wedding stationery and your wedding invitations, it won't just excite the guests, but it will also excite them for what it is that's coming on your wedding day. Thank you so much for being here today, and I wish you an amazing day. Make sure to subscribe down below and you won't miss an episode. I am so grateful to have you here.